You've got to keep the white and the black separate.
That's the sound of the beast. That's the sound of the police. That's the sound of the beast. That's the sound of the police. That's the sound of the beast. Stand clear, done man attack. You can't stand where I stand, you can't walk where I walk. Watch out, we run New York. Policeman come, we bust them out the park. I know this for a fact, you don't like how I act. You claim I'm selling crack, but you be doing that. I'd rather say see ya, cause I would never be ya. Be your officer, you wicked overseer. You hot shot, wanna get props and be a savior. First show a little respect, change your behavior. Change your attitude, change your plan. There could never really be justice on stolen land. Are you really for peace and equality? Or when my car's hooked up, you know you wanna follow me. Your laws are minimal, cause you won't even think about looking at the real criminal. This has got to cease, cause we be getting hyped to the sound of the police. That's the sound of the police. That's the sound of the beast. That's the sound of the police.
The civil rights struggle, of which King is the symbolic leader. His right-hand man says, and I quote, "We have been duped, or have duped ourselves, into believing that the chains have been broken, when in truth we have only been chained more securely. Half freedom has in many instances been worse than no freedom at all."
But we are not engaged in a struggle that means we sit down and do nothing. That there's a great deal of difference between non-resistance to evil and non-violent resistance. Non-resistance leaves you in a state of stagnant passivity and deadened complacency, wherein non-violent resistance means that you do resist in a very strong and determined manner. And I think some of the criticisms of nonviolence, or some of the critics, fail to realize that we are talking about something very strong, and they confuse non-resistance with nonviolent resistance.
V rodnom kraji Ernesta Hemingwaya sa dodnes vedie boj za najzákladnejšie ľudské práva. Čudné úlohy tu zverujú strážcom zákonného poriadku.
It's a story that really resonates with people who are seeing, on the one hand, the American ideals that they know about, and on the other hand, the way the Freedom Rides and the response to them confronts their image of American ideals.
Na tých, čo sa nehodlajú podriadiť neľudskému rasovému zákonodarstvu Spojených štátov, čaká v tomto raji slobody väzenie.
There were a number of students and writers who wanted Martin King to go on the ride with them. So there were major discussions and a lot of heat, I think, even anger, at Dr. Harris's house during the night and the next day. The folk who were pushing him to go were wanting to use him because he was the spokesperson and symbol of the struggle, and they wanted that to give them some kind of media edge.
He refuses, and he claims that he can't go because he's on probation. And many of these young people are on probation 3 or 4 times over, you know. They've been arrested many more times than he has, and they can't understand this reluctance.
The size of the mostly white police force was increasing. So were complaints of police brutality. Influenced by freedom struggles in the South and in Third World nations, in 1966, Huey Newton and Bobby Seale formed the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, a symbol taken from a Lowndes County, Alabama political organization. Armed with law books and with guns, the Black Panthers monitored the actions of the police in the black community.
I made a report back here, the last Sunday's paper, that we were anti-white, that we hold no bones, this is a quote, pick no bones about being anti-white. This is a bold-faced lie. We don't hate nobody because of their color. We hate oppression. We hate murder of black people in our communities. We hate the gross unemployment that exists in our communities.
With chapters in 25 cities, government surveillance was increasing. The membership of the Black Panther Party had reached several thousand and was growing.
We want freedom. We want the power to determine the destiny of our black communities. We want full employment for our people. We want an end to the robbery by the capitalists of our black community. We want decent housing, fit for shelter for human beings. We want education for our people that exposes the true nature of this decadent American society. We want education that teaches us our true history and our role in the present day society. We want all black men exempt from military service. And we want immediate end to police brutality and murder of black people. We want freedom for all black men held in federal, state, county, and city prisons and jails. We want all black people, when brought to trial, to be tried by a jury of their peer group. Our people from their black communities as defined by the Constitution of the United States. We want land, bread, housing, education, clothing, justice, and peace.
Any black leader with charisma was a target of the government's COINTELPRO program.
Stand clear, done man a top. You can't stand where I stand, you can't walk where I walk. Watch out, we run New York. Policeman come, we bust them off the park. I know this for a fact, you don't like how I act. You claim I'm selling crack, but you be doing that. I'd rather say see ya, cause I would never be ya. Be an officer, you wicked overseer. You hot shot, wanna get props and be a savior. First show a little respect, change your behavior. Change your attitude, change your plan. There could never really be justice on stolen land. Are you really for peace and equality? Or when my car's hooked up, you know you wanna follow me. Your laws are minimal, cause you won't even think about looking at the real criminal. This has got to cease, cause we be getting hyped to the sound of the police. Whoop, whoop, that's the sound of the police. Whoop, whoop, that's the sound of the beast. Whoop, whoop, that's the sound of the police. Whoop, whoop, that's the sound of the beast. Now here's a little truth. Open up your eye while you're checking out the boombox. Check the exercise. Take the word overseer like a sample. Repeat it very quickly in a crude boy example. Overseer, 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 overseer.
In 1967, 126 cities were hit by racial violence, with 75 incidents classified as major riots.
Three basic questions about these riots. What happened? Why did it happen? What can be done to prevent it from happening again and again?
In March of 1968, the report was published. It was brutal in its honesty. While saying that a growing black militancy may have added fuel to the riots, the Commission rejected the idea that there had been any organization behind the outbreaks. Instead, the Commission blamed the violence on the devastating poverty and hopelessness endemic in the inner cities in the 1960s. Among their many findings, 1 in 5 African Americans lived in squalor and deprivation in ghetto neighborhoods. The unemployment rate was double for African Americans as compared to whites. The report described communities neglected by their government, racked with crime, and traumatized by police brutality. Disproportionate rates of infant mortality were astonishing, African American children dying at triple the rate of white children. The statistics weren't new, but the Kerner Commission pushed further and laid the blame for many of these conditions on white racism. Quote, "What white Americans have never fully understood, but what the Negro can never forget, is that the white society is deeply implicated in the ghetto. White institutions created it, white institutions maintain it, and white society condones it." The report's conclusion, and its most memorable message, was this: our nation is moving towards two societies, one white, one black, separate and unequal. The Kerner Commissioners suggested a series of solutions to tackle the problems they diagnosed, everything from better early childhood education to a crackdown on police brutality. They pushed for massive job creation, more affirmative action, and an expansion of the social safety net. The Eisenhower Foundation has now issued its preliminary report, echoing the testimony heard across the country. While noting that certain things have improved, such as the growth of the black middle class, the Foundation nonetheless concludes that America has, for the most part, failed to meet the Kerner Commission's goals of less poverty, inequality, racial injustice, and crime. Among the troubling facts, 37 million Americans live in poverty today, but African Americans are 3 times as likely to be at the very bottom of the scale, living in what's known as deep poverty. Median non-white families have just 1/5 the wealth of white families, and over the last 20 years, 3 times as many African American men go to prison as go to college.